Aardman's Chicken Run is arguably their most impressive feature film to date. The movie, which starred Julia Sawalha and Mel Gibson in lead voiceover roles, was also accompanied by a movie tie-in PlayStation game entitled Chicken Run.
No surprises there.
The question is this your run-of-the-mill slapdash mediocre, technically flawed cash-in that is representative of a good 70% of all movie-based games, or does it actually bear some lasting potential as a forgotten PS1 classic? But then a better question is, what does old Fowler think about this?
I don't know what they think they're doing now. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I quite agree, old chap.
The game starts out in Hut 17, where we see Ginger has apparently been involved in a serious mishap that's seen her regular chicken legs replaced with wooden ones.
Let's keep in mind that this is a stealth game, Ginger. With footsteps like that, you're not going to get far.
I've come up with a brand new plan.
Your first task is to retrieve some shears and an old butter knife that will eventually comprise some crude wire cutters, which will be used to pass through the rusty fence. But as Ginger says,
I'll have to be careful of the dogs.
So, off I go. Guess I'll sneak so as not to alert anyone with my obnoxious wooden feet. Carefully. Careful. Oh. Okay, so let's not do that again.
I'll tell you what that is, Ginger. They're sprouts.
Yes, sprouts are inexplicably dotted about the farm in small boxes, conveniently for you. Fortunately, too, the dogs are easily distracted. I'd personally have thought chicken to be a greater reward for dogs than sprouts myself, but hey-ho! Despite the urgency of this mission, you have the option to explore the various huts. Hut 2 contains a chicken feeding game with Bunty and the other hens, with the objective to feed them until their eggs pop out. How very pleasant.
Ugh. Imagine if you ate so much that you gave birth. I don't imagine that. It's fucking disgusting.
Anyway, once you've found the items, you return to Mac in Hut 17, where Mac makes the wire cutters and Ginger reveals the rest of her plan.
I think we may be able to dress up as Mrs Tweedy. Do you think it's possible?
Probably not, Ginger. Probably not. But I'm sure Mac, practically minded as always, tells her just that.
I can't work miracles, but we might pull it off.
Hey, don't encourage her. She's a f***ing lunatic.
Anyway, time to go break through the rusty fence.
Tick, 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 tick. Chickens.
And it's not only dogs you have to watch out for, but also the Tweedies. And thanks to the rather dated PS1 graphics, they look more intimidating than I think the developers intended.
No chicken escaped from Tweedy's farm.
Jesus! I mean, what? Jesus!
Get it off! Get it off!
Mrs Tweedy is of course the most formidable of the pair, forever walking in and out of the house for no apparent reason, and not to mention aggravated by the fact that she's
sick and tired of making minuscule profits.
And we know that because she never stops saying that she's
Sick and tired of making minuscule profits.
maybe she likes sprouts.
Chickens!
Perhaps not.
Anyway, by this point, you've probably grasped what the game entails. It's essentially a stealth game in which you sneak around the farm to retrieve various objects required for a number of escape plans. And while it may not sound the most exciting game to some of you, it's surprisingly well crafted, and complemented by some inspired nuances, like this radar in the bottom corner. Not only does it alert you when enemies are nearby, but it also triggers a metal detector like beep whenever you're in the vicinity of an object you need. What's more, if an enemy does catch you, you don't die or even lose health, you simply lose one or more items that you've already managed to retrieve. Some painstakingly so. It's refreshing to see a game in which a great deal of thought has been invested in its layout. My only complaint would be the camera. While the graphics are pretty decent, the partially overhead POV is annoying when you can't see what's just up ahead, which is a pretty essential requirement if you're not armed with sprouts.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. That's the end of the fart jokes. Now I'll stop.
Now I have the items I need, I'd better go back to Hut 1 and save. Best to be safe, hey? And what better time to catch up with Fowler?
You right there? How you been, old chap?
What?
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 What? Jolly confusing, what? What? Oh, I'm at it now.
I remember when it was all fields.
Anyway, once you've got all the necessary parts, you can go see Babs in Hut 16, as she's in charge of completing the disguise.
It's got to be done in secret.
But will we tell the other chickens?
Oh my god.
We're dead.
You're about as good at keeping secrets as Finkelstein. Heck, this secret plan has about as much chance getting off the ground as, well, you.
Now it's time to attempt your escape, and free as many chickens as you can in the process, something I don't explicitly tell you that you need to do. I mean, I know it should be common sense really, but I don't have that, okay? It's every chicken for herself out here, I can't be held responsible for my actions. Once you move on to Act 2, things get a wee bit more complex, as you have to find the components for 3 escape plans simultaneously.
I know our old plan was less than perfect.
Excuse me, speak for yourself, Ginger. I rescued all the chickens and I escaped the dogs. I'm done, hen.
Our old ginger nut then outlines her plans, including a seesaw to jettison the chickens over the fence, a catapult, and,
Mr. Tweedy has brought some fireworks. I'll bet we could use those to launch us out of here.
We're dead.
That's crazy, little chicken. You're so smart. We don't make eye contact. Bye-bye.
Interestingly, in this part of the game, Ginger can only travel within the confines of the farm and not move into the vicinity of the Tweedy's house.
Even though she literally did it herself about 5 minutes ago.
Instead, she delegates these death-defying responsibilities to Rocky. Lazy bitch.
I wonder what Fowler has to say about that.
That's a fine day. We've been thinking of it differently.
Yes.
There doesn't seem to be any practical reason for switching to Rocky. He seems to have all the same moves as Ginger. He's a little stronger so he can push like one more object than her, but that's just about it. But of course they had to give us a chance to play as Mel Gibson.
Yo, baby doll.
What the fuck have you done with Mel Gibson?
Sleep tight, Angel Face. The rook's on the case.
That's almost as bad as the Lion King redubs. Or almost.
Ah, my friend.
Almost. Hey, I wonder what's in here.
Chickens.
Okay, one, I'm a rooster, and there's a bit of a distinction. Secondly, this is a chicken farm. Is it really that much of a surprise?
Yes, it's Mrs Tweedy again. And I'm pretty sure she's still...
Sick and tired of making minuscule profits.
Okay, so I'll be careful this time. Which reminds me, as a nice touch, you have the ability to sidle against walls. So I guess I'll try that. Careful, careful. Here she comes. Ooh. Oh, for fuck.
Will you just piss off? You're not even scary anymore. No? Go!
Sick and tired of making minuscule profits.
Ah, I see. That's how you get in. You go behind her. Common sense, really, isn't it, really? I was never much good at stealth. Oh god, she's here! And I'm right in front of her! Keep still, Rocky, keep very still! Perhaps she doesn't know! Oh, that worked? Yeah, fortunately for you, all your enemies are painfully short-sighted. Heck, even the dogs are confusing sprouts for chickens. In terms of observance, even the blind pirates from Treasure Planet would give this lot a run for their money. You also unlock a new area using a rusty spoon, where once again Rocky takes the helm.
Well, how about that?
Did you get anything?
What?
You were supposed to get things for us.
Oh, nag. God!
Once you retrieve the items for all the plans, you can put the plans into action. And you know what that means? Unnecessarily frustrating mini-games!
Yay!
And believe it or not, these games are surprisingly difficult. The seesaw is arguably the easiest of the bunch. It sees you having to jettison the chickens over the fence utilizing a mattress, supported by two of the clumsiest chickens who won't keep the fuck still! Oh, well, that went well. Just stop moving. Just why are you moving? Oh my god! The fireworks minigame is kind of fun, and I was a little better at this one, although I still think that despite my so-called success, I likely managed to kill more chickens than I saved. Whoops.
Chicken dinner, anybody?
The most annoying level, Spring Chicken. The most aggravating of the minigames here is the catapult, which sees you having to land the chickens safely on the floating vessels in the water. The trouble is that the aim is so bloody awkward, particularly with the directional buttons, and often sees you drowning your friends instead, as we all do from time to time.
Accidents happen, eh?
There'll be a stern reprimand for you, lad.
Hold on, I didn't save enough chickens?
You ungrateful bastards!
Good show. You saved enough of the flock for me to give you a bronze medal.
Oh yeah, because saving 20 chickens is a huge improvement over saving 19.
The finale of Act 2 sees Rocky attempt to rescue Ginger from the pie machine, representative of that intense, iconic scene from the movie.
And judging by the urgency of the task at hand, I'm sure that the level's accompanying music will too reflect the dramatic nature of the scene. Then again, maybe not.
We were surrounded by cherry. Lovely weather out there, though.
The third act sees you find all the parts to build the crate to fly out of the farm. Interestingly, you use your newfound rat friends Nick and Fetcher to explore the outskirts of the farm and the Tweedy house for supplies. Ah, but there's a catch. Who knew?
Those rats always want eggs.
I'll go and see Bunty and Hut too. She'll be well chuffed that she can help.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be thrilled to forcefully shit a few dozen eggs. Bloody hell, man, what am I playing?
8 eggs.
6, that's my final offer.
Anyway, once the rats comply, you can switch between them in order to work together. One is stronger, while the other is more agile and can jump higher. The puzzles require some thought, but there's nothing too taxing here. Once you've managed to crash the tractor, you can retrieve the chain, while the engine lands directly in the chicken coop.
Nick and Fletcher got this chain for us, and I see you've got the engine.
Yeah, after that tractor crashed, It was easy.
How convenient. Saves me a job, I suppose.
For the remaining items, another task sees you having to sneak past a dog in a Tweedy household, disguised, of course, as a gnome.
Because of course there's nothing suspicious at all about a waddling gnome in your home.
That rhymed! Find all the relevant parts and you've got access to yet more annoying minigames.
What fun.
One such minigame sees you frantically tapping buttons in order to somehow get an engine running, although how exactly, I'm not too sure. It features some oil here, a bubble bath there, I'm not entirely certain what the hell's going on, but Rocky seems happy enough. There's also a pretty mundane task which sees a group of chickens help make the wings for the crate. It's sort of reminiscent of the egg shitting game, only the objective outlined at the outset is, as usual, horribly vague. It honestly took me a while to realise just what was happening. When a green light shows, that means you've successfully coaxed a chicken into making something. When a red light shines, that means
your item is ready for collection at the collection point. Have a nice day now.
See, that wasn't too hard to explain, was it? So why couldn't they do it? The remaining minigame is actually pretty inventive, as it sees you press buttons to use tools, simultaneously with Mr. Tweedy, ensuring you have the correct tool equipped in order to construct the crate, so that Tweedy doesn't hear you. It's essentially just a rhythmic button sequence and timing puzzle. Nothing special, but nothing much wrong with it either.
In those days, you could get 6 to the pound.
Finally, the final boss is hilariously low-key. It simply sees you steering the crate towards telegraph poles, windmills, and other objects dotted about the landscape in order to keep crazy Mrs. Tweedy far from the crate itself. Maybe it's just me, but I find it a little amusing at how many windmills to the face this woman can withstand. Let's face it, if she can power through that, she deserves to bloody win.
I think she deserves a reward. Anybody want to volunteer to be a pie?
Honestly, this is an enjoyable and surprisingly thoughtful movie tie-in. Sometimes stealth in games can be underwhelming with frustrated controls or unresponsive AI, but in this case it handles pretty well, despite the short-sightedness of your adversaries and the dodgy camera, which at times remains fixed in one position when you could really do with looking directly at what might be looking directly at you.
Don't move, Ginger. Don't move. Just stare her in the face and maybe she'll go away.
For those of you who have very little patience, this game is not for you.
Tiptoe by the window.
Even the more upbeat parts of the game are surprisingly tough for what is supposed to be a kid's game, and the instructions for each of the minigames are possibly not as lucid as they could be. Then again, it's refreshing to see a kid's game that doesn't spoon-feed and intelligently demands some trial-and-error exploration. Ultimately, while not completely flawless, this game is most definitely a good egg.
But never mind what I think. What does our good old friend Fowler think?
A tribe of 8-foot pygmies. Oh, I don't like the look of the leader much.
Could not have said it better myself.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's been a long time coming and I hope it did the game justice. Now I don't normally do this, but on the 16th of June my friends and I are taking part in an inflatable obstacle course to raise money for Fight for Sight. This charity is a personal choice between the four of us as my friend's daughter was born with various eye conditions, most of which are very rare. Fight for Sight is a small charity researching these conditions alongside many more, in the hope that one day there'll be cures for all those affected. The other charity we're raising for is Children in Need, which of course we all know, and this charity is the one officially aligned with the event itself, which is called Gung Ho. As I said before, it takes place on the 16th of June in Birmingham, UK, and I'm hoping that YouTube will let me leave a link in the description below, but who knows. In any case, we aim to raise money for both charities and are exceedingly grateful for any amount you might wish to donate. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a wonderful audience.